If you've ever felt like Payday 2 is getting stale, here's a build for you. My name is Arfad and I'm making meme builds for Payday 2. Note that my builds are not supposed to work well, they're just supposed to replicate the abilities of said character as close as possible, though it doesn't harm the potential fun you can have with them. A quick reminder that I stream Payday 2 as well as other games on Twitch. Viewer games and friendly discussions guaranteed. Consider following. Thank you. Now I present to you the Taser build. Starting off with the core of the build, the perk deck. Here it was a tough choice since Taser is a very generic enemy that doesn't have an obscure gimmick that could be portrayed with a perk deck. I considered using Hacker to emphasize staggering, Sociopath to once again emphasize staggering and utilize melee, and Armorer to just generalize the nature of a Taser. But Dove Black from the Payday Builds subreddit suggested to use Muscle as it has a staggering perk deck and doesn't go deep down the armor trope, since Taser shouldn't be heavily armored. Overlooking the skills, in Mastermind I have a couple Joker skills primarily to reach Stockholm Syndrome, but it could be also justified as Taser being higher ranked than regular troops, so he asks his buddies for cover. Now, the point of Stockholm Syndrome is that civilians trust in the police, and this skill perfectly replicates that. Also, a couple spare points for the weapon stability and accuracy. In Enforcer I'm choosing Ace to Resilience since Taser has a 10th visor, so I'm assuming he should be protected from flashbangs. Then Transporter Basic since Tasers shouldn't have a problem tossing a bag. Shock and Awe Ace for staggering, cause Taser will stun you no matter what. Bullseye Basic cause I need to get to the Iron Man, it's a useful skill and it doesn't break the character. Now I chose to ace Iron Man cause to me Taser's armor kinda looks like the ICTV, even if he's not supposed to be heavily armored. Then I couldn't think of a fitting deployable, so I just gave him a couple armor bags. In Technician I just take a couple rifle boosting skills and Heavy Impact Aced to further emphasize the staggering nature of a Taser. In Ghost I take Duck and Color and Parkour Basic cause Taser is running at moderate speeds, can say he's slow. Then I take Aced Shockproof, and some might say that Taser is not actually shockproof, but I couldn't find any other fitting place to spend the points, and it's kinda thematic for Taser to actually be shockproof, so that's that. Then I also took Dire Need to further emphasize the staggering. And for the last three, Fugitive, I take a couple melee skills to make use of the Taser's main gimmick, the buzzer melee. Now, for the primary weapon the choice is very generic. Tasers use a Car 4 rifle modded as such. Short barrel, accuracy boost, auto fire, oval foregrip, tactical laser module, straight grip, and holographic sight, and the exotic receiver. The choice is very generic because that is literally what any other regular police unit is using, just recolored in yellow. Taser's rifle is recolored on barrel and stock, but there is no such pattern for the weapon, so I chose the closest one, which is modern in mint condition. So Taser doesn't actually have a secondary, but I assume that if his weapon choice is so generic, I'll give him the most generic secondary, the Compact 5 SMG, that is also being used by any other regular trooper on lower difficulties and by guards. It is modded with accuracy boost, auto fire, Palisade tactical barrel, and adjustable stock. Also, I want to point out that the in-game version of this SMG utilizes the tactical pistol light, but it is impossible to apply. As a melee weapon, Taser obviously uses the buzzer, but I guess you can also use electrical brass knuckles if you want to. The main point is it stunts with shock. As a throwable, all police force use the flashbang, since we never see them using actual explosives and heists. As I previously mentioned, I'm using the ICTV armor with a SWAT skin, but you can choose any other blue skin to match the color scheme. I just thought SWAT is the most fitting for a police unit. Then when looking at the Taser we see that he uses either the same gloves as Clocker or the cross-check gloves, colored in blue. I personally just use the black ones. For the mask I'm using the hard hat, customized with just plastic blue material. Unfortunately there is no pattern that can replicate the yellow stripe above the visor. That was the regular Taser setup, and now I'll quickly showcase the Russian Taser setup. It's not that much different skill wise and it utilizes same perk deck, but some different gear. First, in Mastermind I don't get the Stockholm Syndrome, cause Russian Tasers are mercenaries, not police force. I also had to sacrifice Stable Shot and Marksman Basic in favor of other better fitting skills. In Enforcer I don't take Resilience Ace cause Russian Taser wears a mask but not a visor, so he's not protected. That forces me to take Die Hard Basic to get to the Iron Man. In Technician I had to sacrifice Body Expertise Aced and Surefire Basic in favor of other skills that fit the character better. Ghost stays the same. In Fugitive I take a couple pistol skills since Russian Taser uses a secondary pistol and the same melee skills as in the regular Taser build. For the primary weapon, Taser, as well as the majority of regular Russian troops, uses the AK-762, modded with Stability Boost, Auto Fire, and the classic stock. I noticed that as a secondary, Russian Taser has two pistols, but unfortunately we can't have a secondary Akimbo, and it's tough to say what pistols are those and how are they modified, so I'm using the most generic NPC pistol in game that is being used by every single security guard, which is Shimano 88, modded with Accuracy Boost, and Tactical Pistol Light. Russian Taser uses the same melee weapon and the throwable as a regular Taser, even if he is a mercenary. For the outfit I had to go with the Murky Water uniform, cause it's the closest thing we have to the Russian Taser outfit, even if it doesn't match the color scheme that well. For gloves I'm using the plain black gloves. Also notice that I'm using the ICTV armor under that uniform. Surprisingly, we can actually somewhat recreate the Russian Taser's mask with the Dark Legion mask, customized with black metal material, electric center pattern, and solid bright yellow color. I can't say it's the exact replica since it's tough to tell what's the exact shade of yellow Russian Taser has on its mask and precisely identify the material it's made of, but I think it's close enough. Now that the builds are set up, let's see some gameplay. The playstyle is pretty straightforward. Run around, shoot the guns, tase the closest enemy, just as the regular gameplay, but you feel cool, cause you're a scary Taser. This game was played on Mayhem and I had no problems, but I also tried it on Deathwish and it actually worked. But you can't run around as carelessly as I do unpunished, so congratulations to me, the build is somewhat decent. The main problem of this build is the lack of any sort of region or team support, otherwise that would have been a legit build with a questionable weapon choice. The Russian setup, although is very similar, felt much worse to me, but purely because of the weapon choice. I'm a fan of the AK rifle, but not that like this, you're running out of ammo very quickly, and the secondary Shimano is an absolute garbage on Mayhem and above, at least in the current setup. Having ammo bags obviously helps, but I'm so used to sustaining myself from just picking up ammo, I always forget about them. Maybe it won't be an issue for you. Also, in both builds, jokers are weak. I had to constantly get new ones, so at some point I even stopped bothering with them, since they don't even give that much of an advantage without Partners in Crime skill. So that's how you create an authentic Taser build in Payday 2. If you like the series, be sure to drop a like and give suggestions on how I can improve, or even request meme builds. Sooner or later I'll run out of in-game enemies and we'll have to improvise. Subscribe to not miss more videos, and that's all from me for now. Have a good day. Oh, now people are joining. How easy it is to gather people around your heist. Just start the lobby, play for like 6 minutes. People will think like, oh, this guy, he's probably he's playing Deathwish alone, and he's in game. He probably can carry me. Let me join real quick. Maybe I can leech off the XP. Maybe I can get some free cash.